first part of September is when I had my Halloween. Now, mind you, since I began my cancer therapy, I shut down the spirit world altogether. Didn't want any part of it. You know, when you're going through a big battle that means life or death, you don't want death around you. You don't want negativity around you. And so you just kind of wall it off. And I did that with the spirit world. Didn't let them come through or anything. And I guess they're back full force. You know, a lot of you know that I act as a medium. A lot of you may not know. But I act as a medium. I'm very communicative with the spirit world and they with me. And, you know, throughout this time, I just didn't want any part of it. I had a big battle to undertake, and it's been about a year of it, of shutting down, you know, from it. Anyway, so my awakening was in September, around the 7th, I believe it was, when I had been working on this video. And, in this video, I actually talk about demons and that they're good illusionists and so forth. And I believe that this very dark-natured client of mine brought a demon with her here and left it, dropped it off. She was afraid when she got a reading, and I can't say names or give enough information to pinpoint who it is, but a client of mine came in and informed me she felt that somebody was casting dark magic on her, but indeed it was not dark magic that they had casted on her, but they had sent a spirit, a very bad one, to rest with her. And when she came here, it spotted me and wanted someone that it could perhaps act through or communicate with, or just screw with. Anyway, so it stayed here with me when she left and whenever I helped her out. So, you know, it was dropped off. And I didn't even realize that it was here until the night I was making this video. And it heard everything that I said in the video. And it decided to challenge me. You know, talking about the spirit, the soul, what it is, what lies here in the afterlife, you know, and demons and what they're about. So it sought its opportunity and wanted to rebel. It actually tried to prevent me from making this video. Everything in the world was happening to try to prevent it, and in the editing even more was going on to try to prevent me from getting it out, you know, to the public. You know, letting thousands of people know what to watch out for or how to deal with demons and so forth. Well, they wouldn't want that. Anyway, but long about 2 a.m., I did get this video completed. I did get it edited, and I got it out there on YouTube and advertised out. So I lucked out, I beat it, I got it done, right? Still, I didn't know that there was a demon with me, though. Throughout all of that, through the making of the video, the editing it, and getting it up on YouTube, I didn't realize that that's what I was battling at that point in time. I just plowed through and got it done as much as I could, wrote it off to everything, you know, happening and blah, 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 you know, just blaming it on myself and my clumsiness or whatnot, you know. But I went to sleep right at 2 a.m. and trust me, it took me all of the day and evening up till 2 a.m. in the morning to finally get it completed and ran up. And then I dropped off to sleep immediately after I got complete. Well, first off, you know, I start dreaming about a scorpion crawling up in bed with me, right? And I'm a dream symbologist. I've been studying dream symbology for a long period of time. And everything about this scorpion is to do with self-preservation. You know, the shell covering the body, the tail coming up over the head, watching out for enemies. You know, they're all about self-preservation. Also, they're of the element of fire. And they're very synonymous with caution against demons and things of that nature. So I go to sleep and I start having this dream about this scorpion crawling up in bed with me. And as I wake up from it, I'm throwing my covers up everywhere and I'm looking all over the bed for the scorpion, and I come to realize that it was just a dream. And so I go into the bathroom, and coming back, I think about searching the bed once more, you know, because it was so real. But I said, no, it was just a dream, and I had no trouble laying back down and just going to sleep, you know. And, you know, remember, this was at 2 a.m., and it was dark whenever I woke up from this dream and went back to sleep. It had to be still right away that I dropped into this other dream, almost immediately upon going back to sleep. You know, I dreamed that I opened the door to an apartment that was supposed to be mine. And the door opened into a foyer, a hallway that you would enter into a house, leave your shoes at, your coat, your hat, all of that stuff, usually. That's what a foyer is. And to the left was my kitchen, and I saw some woman in there putting away dishes, cleaning up, and she said, "Leeanna, is that you?" And I say, "Yeah." And in the dream, this is supposed to be some best friend of mine and roommate, I guess, you know. And that's what I surmised in the dream and thought nothing else of it. And she continued talking to me, but her voice trailed off. And I looked over to the right, losing attention on what this woman was saying to me. And I noticed a TV in the corner all the way across what was the living room, and looking, you know, through the doorway of the foyer going into the living room. You know, and I noticed the TV in the corner on the farthest side of the room, and there are two figures drawn on a white page, and the TV was just completely white, and it had like science drawings of a boy and a girl, and I knew inside of me that it was supposed to be drawings of a little boy and a little girl, and the drawings were done in black, you know, just black tracers, very vague, with a backbone and the outline of the body. And it was supposed to be a boy and a girl. And that's all it was. And I knew that it was to do with science. Okay, but I heard chuckling of a little boy and a little girl playing somewhere in the house. And I thought, okay, that's weird. I don't have any kids. Alright? And then all of a sudden the lights shut out in my apartment, and the TV, everything, it went pitch black. And then they came back on, and I saw what was like a red mark. It was like a red owie mark on a drawing with a red X over it on the two drawings, and it showed them side by side, the little boy and the little girl in the drawings, and it showed an owie mark on one of them, you know, a red indenture like in the side of the head with an X over the top of that. Okay, and it's like, okay, this is an owie mark. This is an indication of where someone has pain. You know, what you would see on the side of a box of medicine or something like that. And then I thought, okay, this is weird. And then the lights went out again and everything else. The TV, all of that. And I felt a sharp stabbing pain in my left side. And it was like a very, very, very sharp stabbing pain. And I doubled over and I thought, what's going on here? And the lights came back on and the TV as well. And I looked over at the TV, it was still on, or back on, rather. And it showed the outline of the kid still there, but it showed the owie mark, you know, with the red indenture and the red X in the place of the side. And I thought, okay, that's where I just felt this sharp stabbing pain on my body. You know, what is it trying to say to me? And then the light shut off again, and I felt a sharp stabbing pain in another part of my body. And when the lights came on, it showed the owie mark again, but in the new place where I had been wounded. And I come to the realization, oh, actually I grabbed for my side at that point, and I felt blood, and I looked at my hand, and I realized at that point I was being stabbed to death, right? And at that point, whenever I come to that realization, the lights went off again. And I started hearing this little bitty boy and little girl, like between the ages of 4 and 7, giggling and playing. And I thought, is this the little boy and little girl from the drawing on the TV? You know, anyway, I started getting multiple stabs throughout my body, and I knew it was this little boy and this little girl that were stabbing me to death. And at this point, I was trying to get away the best I could, and I was stumbling on everything, and I got to a point where I was wedged up against the wall and on the floor, and I couldn't move, and they were just stabbing at me in the darkness, and so I couldn't defend myself, and I knew I was dying at that point. Anybody that says that you can't die in your dream and still live within the real world, they're wrong. I've had many, many dreams to where I died in my sleep, in my dream, and was still fine in the real world. But anyway, I come out of this dream with my husband Austin shaking me. Honey, you gotta wake up. It's just a dream. You're screaming out. And I actually snapped to enough to hear me, you know, making all these weird sounds in my sleep. You know, I was really having a terror of a nightmare there, right? And I get awake and I say, I'm okay, I'm okay. I just gotta shake out my head a minute and then I'm going back to sleep. And he said, okay. Anyway, I turned over to face the wall. And then he cuddled up around me and put his arm around me. And I started going back to sleep. After a minute or two, he woke me back up saying, I've got to go to the bathroom. You know, he must not have gone back to sleep yet. But I felt him move away from me. And now I'm actually wide awake here, and I turn around and I look at him, and he's shifting around a little bit, and I turn back over to face the wall. And then he moves completely away from me, and I think, okay, he's getting the light on his phone, because that's how he uses to, you know, go to the bathroom at night when it's real dark in the house. He'll grab his phone and he'll use the flashlight on it. Anyway, so I said, okay, he's going to the bathroom. And then I felt him move completely away. And I thought, okay, he's gone. I'm going to turn over and face his side of the bed, you know, and wait for him to get back from the bathroom. And so I was going to turn back over. But I looked up in time to see his light all around him as he was walking into the bathroom. And I looked up just in time to see him going into the bathroom, you know, with his light showing around him. And I thought, okay, I'm going to turn over. And then I reached around to brace my hands on the bed so that I could help myself turn over to face the other direction. But I find my husband's hip right here. Okay? I find that my hand is actually on my husband's hip, and my husband has never left the bed yet. And then I turn around real slowly and I look across the room at the bathroom door where I saw him going into the bathroom. And I see his light still there, but I don't see him there anymore. And I turn around to look over my shoulder, and I find my husband standing or sitting there still on the bed, very shocked and surprised. He had moved to get the flashlight phone, or the phone, you know, for his flashlight on it, but he hadn't left the bed yet. He was still there. But I had saw somebody walk into the bathroom. Okay? Now, it turns out his flashlight was aimed on that side of the room. And it really was. But he had caught something else in it that was portraying itself to be him, just to mess with my head. And he says, what's wrong? What's wrong? And he questions me on it, and he says, are you okay? And then I told him, I said, but I just saw you go in the bathroom. And he says, I haven't left the bed yet. I just sat up. You know, and I said, oh my God. Anyway, I shake out my head, and I'm wide awake at this point. My head never went back to the pillow, so I know that there was no dreaming. And all of this that I'm seeing to do with the guy walking in the bathroom that looked like my husband actually still laying beside me. And my husband told me that I said he looked like a skinny Jesus. You know, and I started thinking about that, and I said, well, you know, my husband is not real skinny, and Jesus generally is. After evaluating all of this the next day, and I sat up, I drank coffee, I knew I wasn't going to go back to sleep that night. So I went ahead and I got up, and I started writing down everything that happened that night. Pushing a pencil around with it, doing the dream symbology thing with it, you know, all the symbols and what they mean to me and what it was trying to say. All in all, the video I had made to do with the soul and the spirit, you know, it talked about the different types of spirits, and it indicated that demons are illusionist. Notice Jesus being in my mind as what I thought Austin looked like at that point, and it wasn't really even Austin, and Austin to me is a symbol of purity. Okay, Jesus is supposed to be a sign of purity. Kids and children, as in my dreams, are supposed to be a sign of purity. And I evaluated all of this once I got rested up the next day and started, you know, pushing that pencil around. Come to the realization that things were trying to pose themselves to be anything other than what they were. They were trying to mess with my dream, and they sent me a dream. It had to be a pretty powerful spirit, you know, to send you that strong of a dream, and then to show itself directly after when you were wide awake. And I come to the conclusion that it was trying to make a statement because I put that video out and it didn't want me to whatsoever. It wanted to make a point. It showed itself to me for what it was. And it kind of just backed up what I said. But still, it tried to prevent me from running the video up. And I did anyway. So maybe it was a bit pissed, you know, and was trying to push its weight around on me, and then showed me afterward to say, ha ha ha, you know, this is what you get, you know. And afterward, I verbally waged war on it, and then I've heard of it no more. Austin even went as far as to say, big wuss, where's the fight? Where's the battle? It just left because you told it you were fixing to boot its ass? Okay. Anyway, we haven't heard from it since. But it definitely came here to make a point. It didn't like the things that I said within the video. The scorpion. Now, a different dream that I had prior to this was somebody else trying to tell me that I needed to guard myself, that there was something coming. Preserve myself. Watch out for that which is dark, negative, or evil. Watch out for a demon that would be visiting me in my sleep. And I know that that's what it was trying to tell me, giving that scorpions are self-preservation and guardingness. You know, the shell and the stinging tail. All of this, hanging over the head, watching out for anything that would come from in front. You know, it was somebody else sending me that dream, saying, okay, watch yourself, there's something coming. Be prepared and guard yourself. And it even went as far as to tell me that it was going to try to spiritually attack me in my sleep. Notice, earlier I said the scorpion crawled up on my bed while I was sleeping. And so all of this was a direct reference and symbol of the spiritual attack that was fixing to happen just moments or minutes afterwards. And I still can't even tell you at what point in the night I had the second dream. I do know that I didn't go to bed till 2 a.m. and all of this had transpired and I was completely awake before dawn, before daylight. And if I remember right, I checked my clock long about 4 a.m., 5 a.m. at the latest, and everything had already happened. So it was really, really weird. Very intrusive, and, you know, definitely a spirit that was trying to make a point, you know. I thought it was rather neat, actually. I think it's amazing. As a matter of fact, the night before I told Austin, I said, I want to make an amazing Halloween video, but I don't know what I would address on it or what I would put in it. You know, I really just don't know what I'm going to do, but I want it to be really cool, you know. And I don't do a lot of ghost story videos or anything of that nature, you know, but it's like the spirit was hearing all of these conversations, including the what am I going to do for a Halloween video? What kind of content could I put out there that would be just amazing or great? You know, and then here it is. You know, talk about this kind of thing that happened to me, and just at the time I was making a video based around the soul and the spirit and demons. You know, and just before Halloween would arrive and so forth. You know, I'm not a ghost teller, and I'm not into a lot of gore and all of that as far as the videos that I make go. You know, although I won't mind watching a Walking Dead video or something along those lines. I really love those videos. But, you know, I thought that this was really amazing. And, you know, I got challenged by a demon and I won. I got my video up there the way that I wanted to. I told him that if he didn't get his ass out of there, I was going to take care of it, and he didn't know who he was messing with. And he listened to me. He got out. Just the fact that I thought I was looking at my husband, and I reach around behind me and I find my husband there. Now that was scary as shit. Okay? You know, because you don't know which one is your husband and what you're actually grabbing a hold of right there. And I don't mean anything sexual by that. You know, I mean, who is in bed with you? Is it the husband or is it the spirit? Is it the spirit or is it the husband? That's a scary thought. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, that was a bit of a freak out. And I should be used to this shit, but you don't ever really get used to spirits that manifest themselves so thick, you know, so right there in your face. You don't ever get used to it, especially whenever it's in the dark and they've waken you up out of a sleep with a nightmare. I mean, it's just a total freak out, and you will never get used to that. So don't be, you know, ashamed of being freaked out or scared shitless about something so, you know, surprising, you know, because it happens. It really does. The best thing you can do, you know, if you run into things of this nature, is first off try to get along with it, you know, right there immediately. And secondly, you want to do a complete cleansing on your house if it's negative, you know. And I have videos here on the channel, you know, if you don't know how to do that. I have a complete house cleansing and purification video on here. I have protection spell works and all of that, you know, and I have plenty of videos where I talk about the spirit world, or I believe I do. But, you know, it's a very, very important subject. When you are as open-minded as we are, then you're going to run into this sort of thing. It's going to happen. Being ashamed of it scaring you, well, that's normal. You know, the jump scares, that's pretty normal. That's your everyday life. You know, when something sneaks up on you and you don't expect it, especially when you're coming up out of a deep sleep or whatnot, then it's scary. It's going to surprise the hell out of you, and you're going to find yourself a little bit shocked, okay? And that's normal. As far as being prepared for it, that's a matter of studying, doing your homework. It is always good to study on how to get rid of spirits that are unwanted, because this world is full of them. I have news for you. And when you're as open-minded as we are, you're going to have them. As a matter of fact, when you find out that you've got enemies that you didn't know you have, because usually you're good to people, then you may also want to study up on such things. You know, because I found out just before all of this. Actually, I found out last year, and it hit me in the face again just a few weeks ago, and I did a video on it. You know, that I've got enemies that I didn't realize that I had, and people that are casting on me. And, you know, witches, when they are in their dark mode, when they are dark moded, or when they're black practitioners, then, and I say black loosely here, I mean dark practitioners really. When they're dark practitioners, they don't only reach into magic, but they do like to play with the spirits a lot too. And so you really need to watch out for that, and you do need to be prepared for it. You know, there is nothing wrong with reaching in and doing some studies on how to deal with demons and spirits. And I reach into all fields of spirituality when I study this, because the Christians have good ideas, the witches have good ideas, shamans have good ideas, etc. Everybody's got good ideas on how to deal with this, and it doesn't hurt to combine any two or three. You know, whatever you can use, whatever knowledge and wisdom is at your fingertips, use it, because it can work. You know, the main thing is that you have to have faith in yourself and faith in your higher power. That's the most important thing. Anyway, you know, get yourself a dream catcher. You know, when you have a spirit that's trying to attack you, even through your dreams, you can get a dream catcher and you can bless it and you can empower it, especially if it has stones on it. Then, you know, tiger's eye or crystal, you know, you can use those to filter your dream and get rid of anything dark or negative there that would try to attack you while you're sleeping. You know, watch out for dream weavers and thread bearers, you know, that would try to come through in your sleep and try to mess with you. You know. Anyway, this has been Lady Leeanna, and I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I was going to do an altar video, may still yet, I don't know, but I have so much going on this month, so I really wouldn't bank on it right now. But you take care of yourself, and if I don't talk to you before November, it won't be too long, I will be doing another video for you. Love you guys, and I hope you take care of yourself. I hope you have the best Samhain ever. Do watch out for illusionist spirits on your pathway this year, especially because it's going to be thick. Okay? This month, it's already started. The last half of this month, you know, as the moon is waning down now, it's going to start getting really thick with spirits that are posing to be who they are not. And that's what this video is really about. You know, notice the children, the husband, Jesus Christ. Those are all, to me, signs and symbols of purity. Even my husband, he's very pure in my opinion, at least compared to me. Anyway, there's signs of purity, and things like to pose to be what they're not. Okay, watch out for illusionists and witches that are dark and would like to set out against you would do the same thing too.